Word.
Never heard enough.
I'm recording now.
Okay.
Hi, I'm here with Tamora Peirce, somebody who's famous and not me because I'm not famous. Miss Peirce is, of course, here with my daughter, who is a huge, giant fan of her writing.
So Tamora Peirce was actually the first author I followed as an author. Before that, I looked at my father's books and could not comprehend why the author's name was bigger than the title.
I'm not saying anything.
Were those books written by men by any chance?
And the fact that something is getting bigger than the title makes perfect sense.
And I was worried about me again. The author just like, oh, you thought you were going to make the dick joke. No, the bits of your books I have read and hearing so much from my daughter because she talks about them nonstop. I just personally want to thank you for writing not only very solid fantasy, but solid fantasy that does not kind of fall into the, pure virginal maiden before you're a hero thing. It sounds great.
Thank you. No, virginal before hero, not something I do well. No.
Well, and that's good because people, I thought your comment back at the How to Write Strong Women Characters was the greatest ever. How do you avoid them being men? Well, give them breasts.
Oh, well, yeah, it helps. It's a guideline. It's not a requirement, but it helps.
It does help to have women with breasts when, they're women.
Yeah.
So, it's not... How much does that annoy you, the concept of guys with tits? Because I hear that bandied about a lot.
It annoys me a great deal, actually, because most of the female heroes out there are actually just women or
Right.
girls. They're not trying to be men. They are just trying for equity
Right.
as characters, and the writers who write them are just trying for them to be equal as characters.
So, what other book, other than, of course, yours, and everybody should read everything Tamora Peirce has ever written.
And guess what? There's 27 books. Go
There's-
out, buy them all.
There's only 27. I mean, come on. A good glass of wine, a nice evening, you're done.
Yeah, get sets for your friends.
You're right. What other book series, etc., do that really well, do you think?
Greg Key's Briar King Quartet, Barbara Hambley, just about everything. Daniel Abraham's new fantasy series. There's only 2 books in it now, but he's doing it real well. There's a whole bunch of YA young adult teen books for teenagers. Sarah Beth Durst, Diana Peterfreund. There's a new book out now, or out in July, by Rachel Hartman called Serafina, which is very good. Trying to think, and my brain force is going blank right now.
I find vodka helps.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Minicon for all weekend, have you?
Yeah, and if I had even a sip of that now, I would just fall over right on your
It's
laptop,
okay.
probably.
I'll have your vodka.
Go for it, man.
Okay, so because I don't want to take up your time because you do, I have time limit.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please ask a question, Beyonce.
I wondered if you chose young adult. What was your reason for choosing young adult fiction over adult fiction?
I had originally written a single book called The Song of the Lioness, and I had ended up telling the story to the girls in my group home where I worked in Idaho for a year, and I knew they liked it because they dragged me to the dinner table after school and before bedtime every day that I was on shift to tell them the story, suitably edited at the order of our director because it had sex, drugs, violence, alcohol use, and bad language. And since those things had gotten the girls in the home in the first place, the director didn't want them reading about it. And a book by a so-called authority figure, which is what I was passing as at the time. And so when I moved to New York City after I'd burned out on that job and showed it to a literary agent, and she told me to break it up into 4 books for teenagers, I knew I could, because in a way I already had. I also had to rewrite it. And I thought once I did that and got my foot in the publishing door, I would go back to writing for adults. But by the time the second book came out, I started to get fan mail. And when a kid tells you that your book changed her life, you know she's telling you the truth because you know the books that changed your life. And I thought, if I'm not going to make any money at this, and 8 out of 10 of us who get published don't, then I may as well stick with what gives me satisfaction, which was writing for teenagers. So that's what I stuck with, and I never regretted it.
That's great. Thank you.
Keeps me off the streets.
Something's gotta. I'm kind of scared of you, honestly.
You probably should be. I am a role model for children.
Exactly. Like, here I am, you know, in all my boisterous drunken glory, with all my F-bombs and dick jokes. You're just like, yeah, not impressed.
Yeah, no, I write for teenagers.
Yeah, right. Okay, girl child. Fangirl squee all over Miss Peirce for a moment.
You don't have to. It's not required. Was there anything in particular you wanted to ask?
I didn't have any particular questions.
Okay.
Mostly
my fangirl response is to shut down. I'm sorry.
Okay, and it is the end of the time.
Yeah.
You don't want her to, like, sign your bra strap, anything?
Well, most of I brought most of your books with me to college, and I read them as my comfort food during finals week.
Yeah.
But that means I don't have them with me in town for you to sign.
That is kind of sad.
They're all still on the East Coast.
And yeah, how the show works really is that I'm loud and drunk and boisterous. She's the one who tells me to shut up, and she's the one who tells me where I'm wrong.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got a
So
system of
get
checks
right,
and
get
balances
right.
here.
Okay, so because
Mostly
I don't
just
want to take up
balancing
any more of your time, go ahead and pimp whatever thing that you think people should buy, other than all of your books. What's coming out soon that they should be on the lookout for?
I have no clue. Battle Magic is supposed to come out next year. The Tortal Companion is supposed to come out next year. Mastiff came out last year. So...
Something.
Books.
Buy those.
Buy books. Buy books. Read. Don't make your parents ashamed of you.
Thank you very much for all your time, Ms.
Thank
Peirce.
you.